Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Chris Lee Show, a Bustin' Loose session today here on the Chris Lee Show. The Bustin' Loose segments here are designed to help you to bust loose from old ways of thinking so that you can begin to have new thoughts and ideas that will lead to different results in your life. Today, we're going to talk about accountability partners. I have written 2 books, and my first book that I wrote, the second book I wrote with a bunch of different authors, with 5 different authors, and we held each other accountable. But the first book that I wrote by myself. It was just me. Throughout the process, I kept stopping. A turning point for me in that process of writing a book and publishing a book was that I got an accountability partner. And my accountability partner was a person who became a good friend of mine. Her name is Julie, and she lives in Hong Kong, and we've actually never met in person, but we met through some training that we both took through Michael Logier, some law of attraction-based training through social media, and we both were writing a book at the same time, and we decided to become accountability partners. And what we do is we'd end up talking once a week via Skype. We go through our goals, what we wanted to accomplish for that week. And sometimes we did a reward system. And sometimes we just wrote our goals down, shared them with each other. And then when we talked the next week, we held each other accountable for those goals in a very good and supportive kind of way. And the process of writing my first book took about 2.5 years. And it did not have to. There were times when I'd get stuck and inevitably kind of just put it off to the side. But once I got an accountability partner, someone to be accountable and also someone to help and offer suggestions. There were a lot of good suggestions that went back and forth that helped us to get over those hurdles and the parts where we were stuck. Like I said, what previously had taken 2 years, it basically took about 90 days to finish it. The first book is called From Frustration to Fulfillment, and it chronicles my recovery from a traumatic brain injury. It's available on Amazon.com. The second book that I wrote is called The Soul of a Winner. And there were 5 of us that collaborated on that book. And we met every week and we talked and texted each other pretty much on a daily basis. And the entire book, the second time around, the entire book from concept until we had a book in our hands was less than 90 days. And I am convinced that the fact that we were holding each other accountable for what was going on and kind of created a synergy is what helped to get that project done very, very quickly. So you might write books or you might write plays or whatever it is that you do, whatever your thing is. You might be trying to stop smoking. You might be trying to get in shape. Whatever it is that you want to do, you might be starting a business. I encourage you to get an accountability partner. Someone who will help you, and we'll kind of go through what an accountability partner is, why you should have one, who you should pick, and some tips for selecting an accountability partner, and also some tips for being a good accountability partner. This is something that can kind of supersize your efforts, if you will, if you pick the right person. So what is an accountability partner? Well, an accountability partner is someone besides yourself that you have to answer to for a goal or a specific project. This is a very good thing to get another person involved in this process for you. Why? Why should you have an accountability partner? Well, somebody to encourage you, somebody to support you, somebody to point out your blind spots. When we talk about encouraging and support, we get down on ourselves sometimes. It happens to me. I've been doing motivational speeches and writing books and seminars and all sorts of things for many years, and sometimes I get down on myself. But when you have someone else that's helping you, an accountability partner, somebody to tell you to keep going, someone who can pump you up, because we have that self-talk, and sometimes if things aren't going right, if we aren't getting the business that we expected, if the money's not rolling in, if the weight's not coming off, whatever the thing is, things can turn negative real fast, but an accountability can help you out. Accountability partner can help you out. An accountability partner also is good to call you out on your excuses. It has to be done in a certain way so that it doesn't kill your spirit. But, there were times when with my accountability partner for my first book where I would get on Skype and I say, you know what, I didn't really reach any of my goals. One of the things that we had set up is that you have to give a reason why you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And sometimes she called me out. She called BS. Hey, man, you said you were going to write 3 chapters. You worked 5 days. You had 2 weekend days. You had your evenings. Because you didn't feel like it or because you got busy is not really a good reason. So, accountability, again, can call you out on your excuses, as I just mentioned, encourage you, support you, and point out your blind spots. When I say point out your blind spots, we all have certain patterns, a way that we do things, and sometimes it's in our blind spot. Like when you're driving, you have to kind of look over your shoulder to see that blind spot before you switch lanes. We all have blind spots. We have things that we do over and over again and patterns that we do that we may not realize. And your accountability partner can help you to identify those patterns simply by pointing them out. I used to have a pattern of planning out projects. I'd have 5 or 6 different things planned out. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And when I got to the point where it's time to execute, I didn't do it. I didn't execute. Instead, I move on to something else. And my accountability partner pointed that blind spot out to me, and I was able to work on it. So we talked about what an accountability partner is, why you should have one, who should you select, who qualifies as a good accountability partner. It could be anybody. It could be a friend, a colleague, a professional colleague, someone with a similar goal as you. As I said, my accountability partners, we're writing a book. We're both writing our own books. It should be someone who's not afraid to tell it like it is, but also someone who understands how to motivate you. So I'm going to give you 4 tips on selecting an accountability partner. I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to be a good accountability partner. When selecting an accountability partner, this is not a tip, but first, make sure that it's something that they want to do. Don't force anybody. Don't press anybody into service that might not be interested in doing this. So these are the 4 tips for selecting an accountability partner. Number 1, select someone who has similar goals and a similar vision. You may have big goals and a very big vision. And if your accountability partner does not understand that or share that ability to have a big vision, it's probably not a good selection for an accountability partner. Number 2, someone who has the same level of commitment as you. Imagine picking an accountability partner and you don't hear from them. How crazy would that be? They're supposed to text you every day or call you once a week and you don't hear from them. That might get a little bit discouraging and have the opposite effect of what you intended to have by having an accountability partner. Number 3, you want to pick someone that has a positive attitude. We get down on ourselves sometimes when we are not seeing the results that we wanted, when the weight's not coming off, or when the muscles aren't showing up, when you're writing a book or you've written a book and the book sales just aren't there, whatever the results that you're looking for. When those results aren't there, sometimes we get down on ourselves. So we have to have an accountability partner that has a positive attitude, to be able to put a positive spin or to be able to help you kind of pull you out of a funk if you're in that negative place. And the last tip number 4, is select someone that knows how to validate you, but push you at the same time. Because sometimes you might feel like whatever the hurdle is that's stopping you or slowing you down, that might be a huge obstacle in your mind. It might be causing a huge amount of resistance. A good accountability partner knows how to validate those feelings, but kind of push you a little bit to help you to get past it. So those are the 4 tips for selecting a good accountability partner. I'm going to give you 4 tips now on how to be a good accountability partner. Okay, number 1, be encouraging. Always say nice things. You don't want to tear anybody down. Remember, the whole goal of holding each other accountable so that you can reach the end of a project or a goal, whatever this thing is. So be encouraging. Number 2, remind your partner of the big picture. Remind your partner of those results. Remind your partner of how good it's going to feel when you get that book written, when you get that degree completed, when you lose that weight, when you stop smoking, when you get healthier. A lot of times as humans, we tend to focus on what we have to give up or what we're missing out on, but help your partner to keep the big picture in mind, what that goal is that they're trying to accomplish. Number 3, be a good accountability partner by helping your partner to work through resistance. Sometimes obstacles come up or a certain task comes up and it may not be a person's strong suit. And you kind of have to help them. Not kinda, you do have to help them. Sometimes you have to hold space for them. And by that, I mean sometimes you have to take the reins for them for a little bit until they can take back over for themselves. And number 4, the 4th tip for being a good accountability partner, do what you said you do. If you said you call, if you said you'd follow up, if you said you'd help out in some sort of way, do what you said you do. So those are the tips for selecting an accountability partner and for being an accountability partner. This is yet another success principle that can help you to dash towards the completion of your goals, dash towards that finish line at lightning speed. Thank you so much for listening today. Today's show is available here in the iTunes Store, on SoundCloud, and on Stitcher Radio. You can listen to The Chris Lee Show on your iPad, iPod, iPhone, and Android phone. Any smartphone, you can listen to the show. Let's stay connected. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Radio Host Chris. Follow me, I follow back. And on Facebook, in the search box, type in The Chris Lee Show so that you can stay connected and get the latest info on what's going on with the show, guests that will be coming up. We got so many exciting things in store for you. Thanks for listening this week. We'll see you next week. This has been Chris Lee on The Chris Lee Show podcast.